So this week, I wanted to highlight an experiment that we've been running for the last 4 months on BenjiManTV, Benji's cooking, food, and family channel. Now, let me back up a bit. Usually, if you can bring up the slides. For almost 2 decades, Benji has been vlogging with his wife, Judy, on It's Judy's Life, which is a massively successful channel. 2 million subs, 1.25 billion views, 4.5K videos that she's uploaded and edited all on her own. Actually, I think that there's like 2 maybe on there. How many has she?
Oh no, she's probably not edited about like 30 to 40 of those videos. So yeah, so she still gets credit for 4,500.
Suffice to say, Benji has a solid amount of experience, let's just say, on YouTube, and in particular with vlogging. Now, at the same time, Benji has his BenjiManTV food channel. And actually, that's how we met. So, Doc, I don't know if you know this story, but at the time, Benji was publishing recipe videos that were highly edited, highly produced, and he was looking for an editor. So I contacted him, and he brought me on as a videographer and editor for those videos in particular. And over time, Benji, unfortunately, had to take a step back from that channel. It became less and less of his focus. And I had left to teach in New York. Benji had mostly moved on from the channel. But about 2 years ago, Benji and I ended up reconnecting. And he told me that he was working on a curriculum for a course and that he observed a new way of vlogging that had codified it into 3 simple T's: theme, topic and takeaway, and telling stories. Now, of course, the first thing that we did was test it out on BenjiManTV itself, right? We wanted to test it out on his channel. And what we quickly found was that it was an incredibly easy way to get started on YouTube. You can see here that his views literally skyrocketed after he started uploading using this new vlogging method on his channel. And so in short, BenjiManTV went from a dead channel to more views, more content, more AdSense than ever before. Now, this kernel of an idea would eventually become Vlogging Academy, our course and the first ever vlogging system designed for the new era of YouTube. You can learn more at vloggingacademy.com, by the way, if you're interested. But I bring this up because for the last 2 years, Benji's strategy has been to vlog on BenjiManTV using the new vlogging method, as you saw in those statistics. Now, these are low production, long-form videos that are designed to take advantage of a bunch of changes that we've seen on the platform that we call YouTube. And it's, I would say, been massively successful. I think that that's fair to say, right, Benji? Like
I think so, for sure, yeah.
Okay, but in the last year, something started to change. Every year, YouTube puts on a product launch called Made on YouTube. And last year's happened in mid-September, and I would say it had 4 pillars if I had to lay them out. The first one was AI and shorts creation tools. The second was new monetization tools. The third was YouTube Studio updates. And the fourth was a huge YouTube Live update. I think that this fourth one is really what perked my ears up at the time, because here are some of the features that they announced. I'm just going to go through them. Practice before going live, which is a private mode that lets creators test their setup and experiment with tools before broadcasting publicly. Streaming across formats. Creators are going to be able to broadcast in horizontal and vertical simultaneously with a single unified chat room, which is something that we've talked a lot about on this show. React Live. Anyone can start a vertical live stream on mobile, react to other live events from other creators who are currently streaming, turning any stream into a shared event. AI-powered highlights, side-by-side ads, public to members only transitions. In fact, YouTube framed this set of updates as their biggest ever, and I would say that I mostly agreed. Because to me, at the time, it was clear that YouTube chose 2026 as the year to take live seriously again. So it got me thinking when they started doing this, that we should follow YouTube's lead and start taking live seriously too. Now, at the top of the show, Doc, if you'll recall, we have talked about the half birthday of the Creator Secrets podcast. And many people may not know, but we do this show live every week. For those of you who do know, thank you for being in the chat and being with us live every week. The reason is because of the promise that some of these updates showed. Like, bottom line, we were excited about these updates, right? So half a month after Made on YouTube, we ran our first episode of the Creator Secrets podcast on September 30th. Here it is right there. You can see it. It says 5 months ago because it's technically like another week before it's like fully there, but this is the half year mark. Now, Doc, I don't know if you know this, but literally like less than 2 weeks later, we were visiting Pat Flynn's card party. This is Benji up there on stage with his daughter and Pat Flynn, and who's not in the picture, Doc Rock over there in the corner, who's giving Benji his props and who's Benji's giving you your props. And of course, Card Party is this event that's inspired by Pat's Pocket Monsters channels. And of course, like I'm alluding to here, that's where we met Doc. Now, Doc, tell me, what were you doing there at Card Party?
I was producing a live stream because Pat doesn't want people who can't make it not to be a part of what's there. And I can tell you right now, their watch time and their engagement rate over a 2-day event is freaking phenomenal. And I was just glad that they asked me to come and produce that because, you know, Pat is an awesome Ecamm fam member. Like he's one of the OGs. Actually, he got me download the trial from watching his SPI streams, and then I ended up working there. So kind of I owe a nod to PF Flyer for that. Yeah. I was recovering in the hospital. I was watching people. I told you, I'm watching Benji and Sean on Video Insiders. And then I was watching, oh my God, Owen Video and my friend Diana Gladney and then Pat. And then Pat was talking about Ecamm. And so I downloaded Ecamm, and then next thing you know, I ended up working there.
Well, I love that story. And on our side, long story long here, we were inspired by what you were doing at Card Party, and we were inspired by YouTube's commitment to live streaming. It was just all the arrows pointing in the right direction, and we started cooking up a new idea. On BenjiManTV, we have a couple of vlog formats, because remember, Benji was vlogging the new way at this time, that we're using the new vlogging method. So for example, one of the things that shows up often on Benji's channel is that sometimes he does shopping vlogs where he's going to Costco and he's picking up giant Kikkoman soy sauce there, right? And you can see that he's...
That's a lot of sauce, B.
Other times, he might do something like a cooking vlog. Same style, same 3 T's, but in this case, he's putting together a recipe. Not like recipe videos, like the way that I was editing for him, but like he's putting together and you're watching almost in real time, not quite real time, but in closer to real time, the entire process of going through and actually cooking one of his recipes. And so here's what we did. Because of all that inspiration that we were just talking about, we challenged ourselves to take one of Benji's formats and turn it into a live show. And as you see here, come December, we had cobbled together, with your help, Doc, just gear that we had laying around, like literally. Benji's vlog cameras, an existing computer we had, Ecamm Live, which was the one new addition to the setup here. And we ran an entire cooking show from Benji's kitchen using minimal gear and minimal setup with the goal of making this event a weekly occurrence, as we brought up early in the show, that idea of consistency. Now, the first show went great. This is what it looked like. But I will say that there was a lot to learn, and this is where I'm going to get to turn it to you guys. Because actually the first thing was a little bit, I'm just going to be straight up, it was actually a little bit of concern, right? If you look at the comparison between these view counts, right, there was one video that was getting 8,000 views. Obviously, I've chosen one here to highlight the extremity of it. Benji's videos were not all getting 500,000 views, but his were getting like 30, 40,000 views per upload at the time. We had entered what we call phase 3 of the new vlogging method. But here was the question that came up. Was it what is the behavior when it relates to a live stream versus regular content on YouTube? And was it an issue with the way that we were live streaming? Is it an issue with YouTube live streaming? Should he have been doing this on Twitch, or should he just quit live altogether? Now, here's the data. The first thing I'm showing you here is I'm going to show you a series of videos that are all published around the same amount of time. I apologize that it's kind of slow there, but you can, small there, but you can see there that it levels out at about 18,000 views at the end of the day. This is a Costco shopping vlog from Benji, right? 18,000 views. Again, all these videos that I'm about to show you are published about the same time. The second one here is a cooking vlog. This one only got about 5,000 views, which, if you'll remember, is pretty similar to the third video I'm going to show you, which is a cooking live, which also got about between 4,000 and 5,000 views. And so the first answer, the first conclusion that we can come away with in terms of this, and in terms of our answer to the question, is content is king. The reason that that first stream got fewer views wasn't because the stream itself had any failures. It's because we had built around the format on Benji's channel that was getting less views overall. And so Benji, first I want to open this floor up to you. When you see that data, what is your reaction when you see that? Because obviously you know that there's other things that are coming because this has changed recently, but I'm curious, looking back, what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I was not even doing cooking vlogs is because the ROI wasn't there, right? I mean, going back to what Doc said, I'm a really busy guy. I've got 5 daughters. I teach Taekwondo. Some of them are in the program. I'm vlogging on It's Shooty's Life. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, right? Vertical one. And so for me, I think that naturally, I'm just thinking, I'm thinking about, hey, if I'm going to pick and choose what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure when I'm putting up content vlogs onto my food vlog channel, I'm going to put up the ones that get the most views.
Yeah.
Now, I still like doing the cooking vlogs, right? But I also like going shopping at Costco, like going shopping at the grocery store. So I just started doing more and more of those, and I never got to the cooking vlogs.
Yes.
So when I see this data, I mean, I kind of knew it would be like that. Also, I was like, you know, if I was going to experiment with a new format, do it with one where like there's not a lot at stake. Because what does everybody say? I should be doing a live Costco shopping. And I've yet to do it. Well, I want to do it, right? And I'm trying to figure out how do I get my Osmos fired up with Ecamm, right? I don't know how that would work. But yeah, that it just confirms what I was thinking, you know? And even though I'm doing my live streams similar to my vlog style, I'm kind of resetting the journey.
Yes.
I'm back to what I call phase 1, right? Volume. Do it a lot. In fact, we're doing 2 a week, which for live streams, it's a lot because we were doing like 2 every 6 months for like years.
Yes.
And so I'm in phase 1, everybody, if you're one of my students. So I'm showing you, I'm putting in the reps to get ready for this scene to be built. And guess what? It's happening.
Yeah, and there's 2 things there, right? The first one is what I talked about earlier in that story, which is the driving force behind this was A, that we saw what Doc was doing and we saw what YouTube was talking about, and we have the faith that this area of YouTube is something that's growing in 2026. And so we're starting early. We know it's going to be small at the beginning, but it's going to grow over time, right? Which again, we'll talk about here in a second. The second thing is that talking about those 2 pillars, right? One that doesn't get quite as many views on average, but is still something that you care about. There's room for that in the new vlogging method because of the theme of your channel, right? Because it's not a niche that you're focused on. You're not the Costco guy, even though some people might watch you for your Costco videos. You are someone who shops because it's related to food, which is the overall theme of your channel. So it opens up the room for you to do what you want. And in this case, do the lives. Now, Doc, I'm going to give you your chance to respond, but I want to get through this next piece because I think you're going to like some of this information. And this is some of the most fascinating stuff as it relates to YouTube analytics that I've seen in my entire time working with you, Benji. So if we can bring up the slides one more time. The second question that we had was, does streaming to other platforms adversely affect streaming on YouTube? The reason we asked this is because of what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Doc, as you know, we can multi-stream when we use Ecamm, right? We can stream to Facebook while we're streaming to Instagram, while we're streaming to YouTube, while we're streaming to YouTube Shorts, right? And with dual mode, we can even make bespoke versions for both the horizontal and vertical viewers on each of those platforms, which is just incredible, right? But the question was, for Benji, he treats YouTube as his home base. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, you treat YouTube as your home base. And if we're streaming on Facebook, would that mean that those people would not come over to YouTube, that it would actually depress the number of views that he was seeing on that channel? So let's take a look at his data. Here you see that YouTube analytics from that December start date that we talked about, right after we were inspired by Doc, to right up until the last couple of weeks. And right here you'll see, oh, this was the question, sorry. Oh, I think I went back, sorry guys. Let me move forward here. So here is that data again. And you can see that it goes right up until the last couple of weeks, which is when Benji started doing his dual streams. That's when he starts multi-streaming. I've hidden the data there. Now, before I give you guys the answer here, I want to have a little bit of suspense. Doc, do you have an instinct about what the answer is here? Now, again, this is not across all platforms. This is just on YouTube. Will he see a depression in the number of his views here?
No. I'm over here trying not to yell out the answers like in the movie. The killer is behind you. But no, if anything, I like to think of that song by the Bloodhound Gang. These other channels are like your discovery channels. It makes people like, hey, I kind of like this. Let me go dig deeper because people are nosy, right? And then you start to go look and be like, oh, wait, they're on YouTube and I can see the whole thing and I can conversate with the gang and people is there. And now I'm making friends with Carter, you know, things like that. So yeah, and the reality is, you might see a dip at the beginning, but in the long run, it definitely becomes bigger.
Benji, I'm curious if you have a reaction or a guess.
I'm assuming it goes up. By the way, I haven't even seen this data. When I'm in,
No, Austin is good at this.
when I'm at the beginning phase, I do not even care to really look. I look at the initial numbers of each video and I judge it based off of the performance I'm doing, really my performance, and secondly, Nuchili's performance. Like, right, hey, are we doing everything we can to put on a strong stream? He knows it, like, it's for real, right? Like, that's how you get better.
Well, okay, ready for reveal?
I don't know, like, I have no idea what to expect. I imagine it's gonna be more, but I don't think it's gonna be less.
Here's the answer. The answer is no, it did not depress the numbers at all. It stayed exactly the same. Now, we've only done a couple, so take it with a small grain of salt here, but it seems to have stayed the same. Now, here's what this picture doesn't tell, so neutrally you can take it away because it will distract from the broader point I'm trying to make. This does not count all of the streams that Benji was getting on Facebook and was getting on Reels and was getting on Shorts, which is a lot. It literally, like you were saying at the beginning of the show, can triple your view.
Quadruple or quadruple cases. I mean, like, ridiculous numbers now.
So when I look at that, that is what I see, which is that it is a boost overall in terms of the reach of his content. And as Doc was saying, the wisdom, again, nobody knew this beforehand. It is a discovery engine, if not a place to actually hold your viewers.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was worried because let me just go back and kind of like simplify what was going on here while Nuchili does his little vertical shimmy thing, whatever it is. Okay, so I was worried that if I don't promote on Instagram my YouTube live stream, that they would stay on Instagram and they wouldn't watch on YouTube. But I was like, you know what? They're already on. This is best practice, by the way, of just social media. You want to keep the people where they're already at.
Yeah, you want to meet.
It's almost an impossible task, but you know, sometimes it's nice to like tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. So next time you're on YouTube, go watch me. I didn't realize that it wouldn't affect my YouTube. In fact, I look at it two different ways. Number one, it tells them I'm doing this on YouTube and gives them like a taste of it. So I know this because my AVD on Facebook or Instagram can be like 1 to 2 minutes. Nothing to write home about, or like you know, I'm not winning awards or whatever. But now they know I do this on YouTube, and I've been very purposeful of doing it on the exact same day around the exact same time to start building this habit and this behavior. But there's a second thing. This one's a little bit above my pay grade, but maybe Doc, you could tell me. I had a hunch that these creepy crawlers, what do you call it when they're like tracking what you're watching, like the like, you know, like
Facebook pixel or
yeah, pixels or whatever. Okay,
There you go. Web crawler.
yeah, web crawlers. Not everybody has them turned on, especially because thanks to Apple, I can turn them off. But still, I still think there's other web crawlers happening where they know, YouTube knows you're watching that over there. And what's crazy, it's the exact same content that's on YouTube. So there's a good chance it could suggest this content to them when they go onto YouTube. Maybe not that exact stream, but next time they're on YouTube, if I by chance happen to be on there. And then remember, I still have viewers that watch my vlogs. I've been creating these kind of similar to like how it would be edited.
Yeah.
And this is where Ecamm comes in, because we have two Osmos, different angles. This whole live stream you've been seeing on the vertical, like all kinds of messiness going on. We're still trying to figure it out. But when you watch my live stream cooking sessions, it looks like I have 10 different cameras, or it looks like it's edited. I've gotten comments from people saying, this is not live. This is totally pre-edited, and it's not pre-edited. Even though I'm literally answering questions from the chat, they still question it. My point is this. Overall, I'm still at the beginning of this, but I can see this trajectory. If you just put all my views and even the average view duration, all that into like a big one, like, you know, a data sheet report, and set aside the platforms, it's like I live 4x my performance. And I literally am from a view count. But we don't know what next week's going to be like and the week afterwards. And we've been having some hits. It's crazy. So
yeah, we have been having some hits. But I want to answer the initial question before we get to that, which is, if we go back to the slides, does streaming to other platforms adversely affect YouTube? The initial conclusion, no. An emphatic no. We should have just asked Doc.
I was trying so hard not to scream out the answer.
It's like Dora the Explorer over here. The second thing I wanted to show you is the idea of the multi-streaming experiment. Because yes, we're streaming to these other platforms, but we did this thing most recently where instead of unifying our YouTube streams into a vertical and horizontal combined, we started using Ecamm's dual mode in order to stream in two different places at once, both on YouTube. And so I want to just quickly show you, again, the question being, does streaming to other platforms adversely affect YouTube? I want to quickly show you what it's like to do this stream, right? So the first thing is that you can have your computer here. And when you're streaming using your computer, it sends it to just YouTube. That's like the old days. That's what we would do all the time, right? Now, most recently, the interesting thing that we would do is that we would take this stream, which is a horizontal stream, right? And we would send it out to both YouTube and YouTube vertical. So it's one stream going to both places. YouTube would just crop into the center there, right? Now, even more recently, what we've been able to do is actually, because of Ecamm and Ecamm's dual mode, we've been able to make bespoke versions of the feed using the same video cameras, using the same producer, sending each of these to their own platform. So anything that's vertical is going here, anything that's horizontal is going here, just like that. But it gets better than that, because what we've been able to do is that if you imagine Facebook might have something over here, right? And so you would want to start streaming horizontally over to Facebook as well. And like I said, you also might have something like Instagram. I'm not going to change the color here. And you might want to stream horizontally or vertically, depending on which one you want to send over there to Instagram. And so Benji, you can imagine how this starts looking to like it's quadrupling his numbers, right? Now it was, like I said, we were concerned about moving away from YouTube itself, right, in terms of having a split attention. But we were even more worried about sending two streams to YouTube as well. And so, I don't know why it keeps doing it this way. Sorry, guys. This is an example of, was this the first one that you guys did, a dual mode?
I think so. It was a dual mode where it was going to its own vertical feed, and then the horizontal was going to its own horizontal feed on YouTube.
Yeah, and so...
Because, by the way, before, if it went vertical on YouTube, it was going to the shorts feed, but it wasn't like counting extra views there at all. It's like, it just like disappeared into the vastness of YouTube's like back library.
My thought is that actually when it was going there before, that we were not getting, like it was not treating it as its own video that was getting reach. And so here's what we saw.
No, it was treating it as a duplicate because they don't want to give you credit for the same content twice the way they did it. And we was like, nah, that's not how it's going to work. So we did it our different way. Don't tell
exactly. Let me show you what the watch behavior was, because it was awesome that Benji got multiple views for doing one stream, like multiplied his views. But what about the behavior of the viewers on each of these platforms? I'm going to show you two columns, right? One is going to be one set of viewers who are watching the vertical content. One's going to be one set of viewers who are watching the horizontal content. The first one you see here is a graph that shows you the number of new viewers versus casual viewers, right? So for new viewers here, you can see that they made up almost 90% of the people who are watching this form of content. This is like Jeopardy, you know, at this point. Here's the other side of things. This, on the other side, you see that new viewers only made up 10% of the content over here, and that regular viewers, people who often watch Benji's channel, made up 70% of the viewers. Okay, Doc, another quiz for you. Which one do you think is horizontal? Which one do you think is vertical on YouTube?
Well, of course, normally you get your new viewers from the vertical content. However, it also works for your regular viewers because when they open their phone and you're live, right now, the way the system is set up, you're more likely to find out somebody is live on the vertical because it's going to feed you that first instead of guessing what you might want to see. Because those, if you're not a heavy shorts watcher, you don't know that this stuff is live. So a lot of times when you open your feed, the second or third live is somebody you actually know is live.
Okay, I'm not going to reveal quite yet. I'm going to add the second piece of data here, which is the device time. Here, on the one on the left, remember all the ones on the left are from the same stream. You can see that 50% of the people who watched here were on mobile. They were on their phones, while only 20% of them were on their TV, and then it goes really far down from there. On the other side, you see that almost 45% of people are watching on the TV. There's still a good solid 33%, a third of people who are watching on mobile. And then again, it goes down from there. Now, again, I'm going to draw the line down the middle. One is one and one is the other. Doc, do you change your answer? Yeah, what do you think?
100%. It's obvious. No, it's the right side is the one underneath Benji is the horizontal side because TV is just gangster right now.
Okay, here's the reveal. Vertical. Right there, horizontal right there. And so this is what it looks like when you're streaming to multiple platforms. Not only are you getting more views than you were before, but you're getting different behavior, A, of the type of people who are coming to watch your content, and B, the type of devices that they're using to watch your content, which, as we talked about with Paramount, totally changes the engagement behavior with the content that you have. Benji, when you see these numbers, I know you've seen them before, but I'm curious about your initial reactions to them presented in this way.
Yeah, even me, I tend to not put a lot of weight on data in this phase one, even though I've been doing this for so long. You think like, yeah, you want to be data. You know, what does Colin Powell say? We want to be data dependent, right? This like inside joke for Ecamm. Sorry, guys, but I was shocked by them. That they're all over the place. Like completely different. Now, I know that people that watch vertical would be different than horizontal, but are you going to reveal the age thing?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so hold on to your britches, you guys. Okay,
let's go ahead and move along.
Okay, I'll just say this. I'm shocked. I am shocked. And I love live streaming. I love dual streaming, and I genuinely love Ecamm and Neutrally and what I'm able to do. Okay, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit.
Before we get to the age thing, I wanted to show one more piece of information. Here you see a screenshot where Benji was screenshotting his YouTube studio about 12 hours after he had finished a live stream. The reason he did it at this point is because it takes a little while for the horizontal to actually get uploaded to YouTube. So this is just right after both of them have been published. So this is like almost immediately after the live stream. And you can see here that for the shorts video, and sorry, I should make this red so it's easier to see. For the shorts video here, he got 6K views, right? For the shorts video, he got 6K views. For the horizontal video, the classic YouTube live video, he only got 1.6K views. And so YouTube Shorts, as Doc was talking about, was his discoverability mechanism. He's like, you reaching way more people than he would otherwise. Now, take a look at this. Here you can see, just like before, that there's a difference between one of these formats and the other formats when it comes to average view duration. In one of them, you can see that he's got a 2-minute average view duration. In the other, you can see he's got a 12-minute average view duration. Benji, I know you know the answer to this, but tell us about which one is which and why.
Well, 2 minutes is for the vertical one. And it's always like that because going back to the beginning, when we talk about what is the expectation from the viewer and what is the typical behavior, on not just the device, but the format. While on vertical, because of the swipe through, it's going to be a legit shorter attention span, not because they have a shorter attention span. They just want the quick hit, okay?
The distraction is closer.
And then the one on the right, the horizontal AVD, audience view duration, is way longer, like crazy amount longer. This is just 12 hours afterwards, right? Okay. Because when you're watching not only a horizontal piece of content, but especially the TV, because if you look at the data before this, it was majority TV. You're sitting, we call them couch viewers, chore viewers, or even commuter viewers. Believe it or not, people watch or listen to YouTube. If you drive a Tesla, you're maybe watching, okay? But they're like sit there and watch. If you're in Honolulu, you're gonna commute for an hour getting into town, okay? That's just how it is. My point is this. The right is horizontal because you expect to watch something longer, and I'm providing a longer piece of content. The left one, even though it is a longer live stream, it's vertical where people are tend to watch for less time because that's what they're there for. They're watching it in between class or maybe literally like in between conversations. Maybe you're on the toilet and you're just like, I need to get a quick hit of a little bit of YouTube content,
So I want to expand this out because Benji explained it very well. Here is 24 hours. So if the first one was 12 hours, here's 24 hours.
You should make sure to mention the views for people that can't see it.
Yes, I'm just about to draw it out here. So remember, this is our 12-hour block. And actually, you know what I'm going to do yellow because I think it's going to be easier to see. This is our 12-hour block. This is our 24-hour block. Now remember, here for the horizontal viewing thing, it was 1.6K views, right? For the vertical, it was 6K views. Okay, let's look at the 24-hour ones. After the fact, for the horizontal, it was 2.6K views. So it got an additional 1,000 views after another 12 hours throughout that day, right? What about on the vertical though? On the vertical here, you can see that it got up to 6.2K views. It was growing, but it really only got 200 more views. So the YouTube vertical one, because remember, it's not short enough to be in the Shorts tab in this case. It's going to just the regular old YouTube upload tab. It's not getting as many views as it was as the other one was before. So the first takeaway here that you should see is that the horizontal viewport, when you're watching these lives after the fact, is the one that has tended to grow for Benji over time. And the one that has gone vertical is not as useful to him in his back catalog in this state of YouTube. Doc, do you have any reactions to that?
A couple of them. First of all, a couple of things I like to always make sure that I hammer home for creators. I went to marketing school. I have a marketing degree. Again, one in English, one in Japanese. And what people buy, I hate to use this terminology, but it's the easiest way to understand. People buy people. They don't buy products. They buy people. In other words, you relate to the people that you relate to because they actually like you. The products that you bought, we have no relation to the brand. No, even if that person is, say, Tim Cook or Johnny Ives or somebody that you haven't even met, a parasocial person, you still have a relationship to the brand. And so you choose this particular brand because it is what it is, right? People buy Zatarans because they like the dude's face on the thing. To get to that point, and when I was in B school, it was you need 7 points, touch points, what they call it. You need 7 touch points before someone makes a conversion. The modern version of that is 11 to 13. So if I'm watching somebody on a short form content, I am getting 7 to 15 seconds of touch time, FaceTime, me time, however you want to call it. When you're watching content on YouTube, the way Benji is telling you to do it, you're getting on average anywhere from 3 to 11 minutes of touch time. I know this person better, okay? Now, we got to spend some time in Seattle, about 20 minutes. I'm watching Benji and my niece over there playing cards with Pat. Then he came down, we hug it out. Benji, I'll catch up with you. And then, listen, this is funny. I've talked to many creators at his level doing what I do, being in the show circuit. Oh, yeah, we'll get in contact, whatever. To my surprise, I get a DM. Hey, dude, it was good meeting you. Thank you. I can't believe what you did for me. If you need anything, holla at me. I called Mary Lou, my partner, got, oh my God, girl, oh my God. Benji texted me. Like, he asked me to the prom. I was like, oh my goodness, like, we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be friends. And I was like, I can't believe it, right? And so I want to say something that means the absolute world to me. I have spent over the last 5 years of work, well, 4 years working at Ecamm, almost 5. And I've spent many a times on Zoom calls or at a conference doing a quick meeting type, shoot a video with Pat, but I hadn't spent time with Pat. He came to Hawaii a couple months ago and we went out to dinner. And after that conversation, Pat sent a message to my boss that will bring tears to my eyes. He goes, I know who Doc is. I see all his content, whatever. I know what the dude is on the internet, but actually spending some quality time with that dude is way different. Like, yo, he's an absolute gem. Like, he gassed me up big time. And when one of your, that know, like, and trust, you cannot get in short form content. And nephew Austin, you cannot get with your always scripted content, you schoolboy. You have to let people know you. And even in the time that Benji took Matt off of my TikTok and IG and put him in the kitchen for an hour, I was like, Matt was always handsome and a good cook. But Matt is like family. I could kick it with him. I know we're going to hit it off, right? I talked to Nucci for a couple of minutes. Like, I know we're going to hit it off. And I'm not even trying to guess, a week from now, we did this 2 weeks later, our conversation is completely different. Yes, y'all going to be stuck with me for 3-4 days, right? And I already call you nephew Austin. It's a Korean thing, but it's going to be even tighter. And so people, if you want to make meaningful impact, if you want to grow your business and grow your audience because you're positively impacting the lives of people, your live streaming is the way it is. Your other content will be a massive pillar. But that insurance, that foundational aspect that make people ride with you, love with you, and build community comes from live streaming. And this is why it's so clutch. And not enough creators get it, because I understand the vulnerability is scary and too many people want their content to be perfect. And right now, nobody wants to see perfect content because all of our heroes, we all been sold. They're not who we thought they were. And so the advantage of live streaming is you get to actually know these folks. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell the way Benji's always checking on his girls. Are you guys hungry? Do you need something? Like, that just reminds me of my family growing up. You know what I mean? So we've probably spent maybe 30 minutes in Meet Space together and maybe another 2 or 3 hours on Zoom Space together. But he's already like a part of our inner crew because of what you see him do at home and, on the streams and, watching you and Neutrally produce the shows and things like that. It's hard to explain. Like, I feel like I'm talking like, astrophysicist people, not those, the other ones, the Virgo, Gemini, and Moon retrograde, astronomy people. Nah, I said it again. Astrology. Thank you. Nucci, you're supposed to help, bro. Yeah, it's different, bro. It's different. And I cannot say this enough. Even if I didn't work at Ecamm, I'm telling you, fam, you want to be live streaming if you really want to grow this, because people need to know the real people. And I've watched the regular vloggers come up versus they call them the easy vloggers or the granddad vloggers. I am more attached to the granddad vloggers, the people that just be themselves. Not the age group. It's the type of vlogging that Benji teaches about. Just be normal, do something. Don't be overly fancy.
Yeah, and that speaks to the power of live streaming, but it also speaks to the power of that statistic, which is AVD, which is a statistic that Benji has obsessed over because it is a representation of the depth of connection that the average viewer has with you to some degree. To your point, Doc, that you're spending more time together. And that's why I found this next piece so fascinating, which is that the live stream power carries through even to the vertical formats. So let's go and take it up on the screen here. You can see that after the fact, 24 hours after, it actually increased to a 10-minute watch time on average, even for shorts, right? And if I go to the next page here, you can see that it continued to increase here too for the horizontal one up to 14 minutes as well. And so the people who ended up watching were watching for a very long time and spending a ton of time.
Is this a glitch, Doc?
And
is this a
No.
it's actually
No, dude. It's because people build that connection. And by the way, let's not give you the secret sauce right now, Benji. Okay, I got to sneak an Ecamm joint in because he's also recording a vertical one. All you got to do is hand that to Nucci and be like, anywhere where I said a tip about buying a particular product or doing this, you know, like boiling your tofu to make it taste better, send those as shorts to Facebook so that they can give me my $1,000.
Literally.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I know that you were going to finish something, but Doc, this blew my mind. Okay, so for anyone listening to this, when I first started the live stream, the AVD for the vertical version of my live stream is 2 minutes. That's not mind-blowing. It's shorter. It's still pretty long for vertical content. Definitely beats most shorts. But it went to almost 10 minutes on the vertical. That is mind-blowing for me because it means that they were watching the live stream, and live streams typically don't hit your, suggested at the right time.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious, right? So you might watch it for a hot second or whatever. 2 minutes is pretty long. But then they're like, you know what? I'm going to go back to it.
I know.
So is this people going back to it and then watching it maybe in its entirety or for much longer? This is where and the reason I bring it up, we thought it was a glitch.
Yeah. And to me, that speaks to the power of that discovery feature, Doc. Because Benji, you talked about, well, maybe people go there and then they watch it on YouTube, or maybe there's somebody who's tracking you across the internet. Let's say that those things aren't even true. They've watched you on Facebook. They've watched you on Shorts. The next time you pop up on their feed, are they more likely to watch your long form horizontal content? 100%. Of course they are.
And they're also more likely to watch the vertical one because they know what they're going to get because of the consistency and because he's what he's doing. Now, tell me you haven't done this yourself. You pop the phone over and somebody's live and he's like, I kind of want to watch this, but let me do the hunt for some gem. So you scroll, hunt for some gem. You go about 10, 15 finger swipes down, give up, go back to the live, watch the live for a long time on vertical. I know if I done it, everybody else done it. I ain't that weird. Well, a little bit.
Well, because you're hunting for the vertical version?
Well, just no. What I'm saying is you're hunting for a gem, right? Yeah. That's the reason why vertical feed works so well, the For You page and all of that. It becomes like a slot machine mentality. There's a dude named Nir Eyal, Nireyal. He wrote a book called Hooked. That book, he actually did the initial pre-launch party at my co-working space in Honolulu. So I've seen the book like when it first came out. Definitely read that book. But he talks about a behavioral pattern that's called BMAT. And it's the reason why Facebook and Twitter at that time had just turned off the end of the page. In the OG days, you scroll to the end, you had to push next. And you scroll to the end, you had to put next. And they turned it off because people hunt by nature. We forget that we're animals, but we hunt by nature. So you're hunting for a gem. And all they had to do was give you a crumb of something dope every once in a while. So Austin's on Facebook, scroll, hockey post. Oh, dang, that was good. Boom, scroll. Boom, here's Guy Lafour's greatest hits. Boom, scroll. Here's Oli the Goldie, greatest saves. And now, you know what I mean? Like now he's in there. Look, Wayne Gretzky, look how fast he could get to this puck before the puck got to where the puck was going. Now he's there. Hour later, what he's supposed to do pre-calc? Absolutely. Was he stuck on Facebook? Absolutely. Because they knew exactly before you're about to leave, by the way your thumb twitches, let me give you the gem that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And the reason why he knows that, because he helped write that addiction into a game like We Farm or whatever back in the day, and he felt bad about it. So he left the company to go write this book. He was working for that game company, Zynga, that's Little Red Dog before. And yeah, anyway, this is why. And so Benji, people go to the thing, they see this live, they don't have time for this. So they start scrolling, looking for something cooler, and then go right back to the live because I do have time for this.
You know, I want to round this out so we can get out of here. We have one little small segment that we always close out with, but I did want to get to the thing that Benji was excited to show you, which is just, yeah, it's just interesting. It shows you, Doc, I'm going to make you do it one more time and tell me which analytics are for the short form content and which one are for the YouTube proper content. And this one is by age. So the one on the left primarily shows you that the highest bracket of people who are watching are younger people, 25 to 34. It's a huge number. It's almost 50%. And then it kind of declines linearly until you're at 65, who are like 6% of people watching, right? On the other side, it's the same kind of stair-step look, maybe a little less so, but mostly the same stair-step thing, but the opposite direction. The funnel's going the other way. So the young people are watching less. So like 25 to 34 is like 12%. And 65 plus is 30%, which is actually a little shocking that there's so many people that are that age who are watching this content after the fact. Now, I'm not 100% sure exactly how these are counted, but Doc, if you had a guess, which one is shorts and which one is YouTube regular?
Oh, YouTube regular is definitely the OGs be sitting on the TV because we got the heating pad going. We got ice packs on the knees. we sit on, well, actually, no, because my mother-in-law used to watch all kind of stuff on TV and she was mostly locked in on Food Channel. And then I showed her that she could watch people doing recipes in Japanese or in Okinawan on YouTube. She don't watch regular TV no more and she's pushing 80. You know, because she can watch Hogan programming, that's original Okinawan language, Uchinago. She can watch Okinawan programming on YouTube because, you know, Okinawan. Oh, I like watch YouTube. And that's it. That's all she watches. And she will be talking to them like they can hear her in the whole 9 yards. So I'm just using her as a litmus test. It has to be the ring.
So you're saying the people who are older are watching the YouTube regular, is what you're saying?
Yes, horizontal. Yes.
If I were you, I would have guessed the same thing. Here is the big reveal.
Shut the front door.
That's what I'm saying, Doc.
Shut the front door.
Okay, so real quick,
drop this notebook.
real quick. Okay, by the way, for the audience that's watching, this is actually a huge, huge deal, and I'll tell you why. I've always thought when you experiment, you might find something new, okay? You might like tap into some unknown, and you're going to do something different, and the results can kind of like yield something like a secret. Also, when you experiment, sometimes you appeal to a new audience. The fact that this is vertical, I don't typically appeal to that demographic, and I have no like qualms of who watches me, okay? But if this is on one of my first dual streams,
Yeah.
and I'm tapping into a 65 plus audience, by the way, you want to talk about book sales? I should be doing a cookbook right now.
Very true.
Because this is the demographics that would be buying my cookbook if I do it enough. And you talk about trust and wanting to support me. So why this is a big deal, other than the fact that both Doc and I had the same reaction.
Oh yeah, I think we all did.
I was like looking at this like, this is why I think that the analytics might be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard of creators literally like having their second win on a platform, including YouTube. Second win meaning like another chapter where they're like blowing up and getting more views when they just do something different. You think you're catering to this audience, but because you change something up, or like the technology is changing, or the algorithm just adjusted, boom, you're getting discovered by a whole nother audience. I can assure you, the ones on the older side, they probably don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, who's this? And they're watching on whatever device.
Well, go back a couple slides, right? We saw that. Like literally, they are a bunch of new people to your channel. Sorry for all the chains. Okay. Right here, you can literally see that 80 to 90% of the people who are watching that vertical are new to your channel. So I agree with you. They're definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, and this is crazy because I don't even know how to read this, because it's breaking all the rules. And the takeaway is this, and Doc, I definitely want to hear what you think, because like it looks like your brain's working overtime right now. Not just because like, you know, like we've been going for 2 hours and tired. No, but because this like doesn't make sense. The takeaway for creators is live streaming is a whole nother ball game. All the rules are different. All the things that we used to think apply aren't gonna apply here. And part of it too is I'm just doing something no one else is doing. You want to talk about the shorts feed and hunting for content? Nobody is doing this on YouTube's shorts live feed. No one has a show that's cutting to different angles with only 2 cameras and it looks like it should be on Food Network. Honestly, the only thing that's separating me and Food Network is that it's not in 4K, okay? And that's why we have to upgrade the things. Now, you don't have to, but I don't want to do what you just said, Doc. I want to do like shorts. I want to do TikToks from my live stream content. And it's a matter of just like clipping it out, not even editing it, literally just clipping it out. But this right here, and so Doc, like because I was actually kind of shocked too. I thought you would like get his trick. You're like, oh, he's not gonna pull one on me. Why is this curveball shocking you?
Because like, again, I do my community, most of the people are 40 plus, right? We call it Gen X plusers. So 42 right now is Gen X. And they all watch on TV. So I'm like, it has to be the TV. It has to be the TV. Like that's all we ever talk about. But it's amazing. So that means that, OGs who are out and about, maybe they're traveling, maybe they're on the road, like they're actually consuming vertical content. And if you listen to the noise, which is why as a army person, we do signal to noise. Signal lets you know what's really going on. A lot of time noise is there to distract you. If you paying attention to signal and not noise, everybody would tell you that old people don't be on their phones. Only the kids are on their phones or whatever. And I was always telling them, when we were coaching YouTube back in the day, the largest growing demographic on social channels was 55 plus. And nobody wanted to hear that. But I'm like, they got money and nothing to do all day. So they're watching more than you think. They are. Why I am amazed by this stat. This is why you hired a math teacher, bro. Because this, and I'm with you, right? I love to experiment. I just posted to you guys a book that you can check out, and I'll tell the audience. There's a lady named by Anne-Marie Lecomte, and she has a book called Tiny Experiments. And this something that I live by now. I'm always trying little experiments because it's easy to get complacent. And then, I hear all these creators complaining about what the YouTube is doing and what the algorithm is doing. And I'm like, YouTube is testing. So the algorithm stuff, by the time one of us creators makes a video to tell you how to game the algorithm, they've already changed it, because they're forever doing tiny little experiments. And their only goal is to deliver us as viewers the best content as possible. They don't owe us as creators anything. If you want to get seen by people, you make good content. You know what I'm saying? And then once you make good content, then more and more people will share it and more people will give it. And we love to blame everybody else for when we're not performing, but us not performing is on us. The platform's job is to literally show people what they want to see. And nobody wants to hear that because it puts the onus on you. And, I was thinking you mentioned something funny and I had to crack a joke. You had mentioned about the distraction. Like everybody loves to talk about the distracted attention. You know how your man over there been married so long and how I've been going on 26 years this year? Because I tell you what, we don't get no more. We don't get distracted. That will get you hit. That will get you punched right in the throat. So when it's good, you're not distracted, right? When it's good, when things are going good, you're not distracted. Like my neck ain't even try. She's a black belt too. My neck is not trying to be like, She was like, boom. I'm like, I don't want to catch no yoke, no Mike Getty upside my head like that one kickboxer girl that only throws kicks. My other half can do that. And she's short, so it's not gonna hit me in the face. It's a picture that way. She's 5'8".
I just want to, and I know that we got to end. I should probably head home soon, but Doc, I just checked my last live stream that I did a couple days ago was butter chicken. Shout out to Neutrally, the thumbnail editor. Or was that me? That was you? The butter chicken? I just checked the analytics there. The AVD on that is 10 minutes on the vertical live stream.
And it does nothing but go up. That's the amazing thing.
And it keeps going up. That's what you expect for horizontal content, for a vlog or a long form piece of content. So okay, this is wasn't this my theory about TikTok? So I'm holding an event. Doc's going to be going next week. And I'm just going to tell you 3 themes, right? One is long on other platforms, on all platforms, live stream. And the last one is think longer for brand deals. This shows me why long is working on TikTok and long is working on Instagram and even Facebook, vertical content, right? Short form content. Now people are just comfortable. And guess what? People are putting up good content on vertical platforms. Yeah. And this data is literally showing like they're comfortable watching longer videos in a vertical format. And this is what's crazy. Matt said this right here 5 years ago. I interviewed Matt when I first met him. So you said you like Matt, right? I knew right away. I was like, this guy is different. And he came here, right, from Seattle. And after interviewing for a whole hour, I should find that I asked him one question. because I always know people that are in the trenches and doing it the way he was doing it. He was uploading like 2 to 5 a day. I was like, what do you think for the future of content? And he goes, long form vertical videos. This is like January of 2021. I was like, oh, you're crazy. He's like, yeah, no, people are going to watch longer videos in a vertical format. And of course, I'm this old fogey over here doing YouTube vlogs, right? This is before I did the new vlog strategy. And, you know, that would have confirmed my thought, right? Like, no one's going to watch that. They're going to go to YouTube. No, this year, Doc, one of the big things, if you're listening to this, you're going to be at my creator event next week. I'm just going to give you a little preview. Long form vertical content is working on other platforms and people don't even know it, but people are watching it. One of the creators I'm going to interview on stage, he's a long form TikTok creator. We're doing, how long is Alex?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, oh, is a lifetime on TikTok, okay? When people are used to 30 seconds. And what's interesting is he's like, oh, I'm going to go horizontal on YouTube. Now I'm like, why? Why? Like, if people are watching my stuff, and I would argue my stuff is not nearly as good as his stuff, oh my gosh, all he has to do is do it now. That's what's crazy. He was limited to what he could do on TikTok, partly because of the platform, but also the behavior. On YouTube, though, he could legit do 10-minute documentaries. That's what he does. So I'm excited. Because this data alone, again, I'm still like questioning it. At like one time, like in a month when YouTube fixes this glitch, I'm like, oh, these are all going to go from 10-minute AVDs, 9-minute AVDs to like 30, 60 seconds. And if it doesn't, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, to me, this is the first lesson, and I'll wrap this here, is that the important piece is the discovery mechanism, not necessarily how people are watching. If you think about the behavior of the discovery mechanism where they're initially looking for your live streams, they're on shorts and they're scrolling. We talked about distractions. The next distraction, Doc, is the next scroll of your thumb down. It's very easy to go to the next one, right? If they're seeing the replay of the vertical, what was originally on the shorts feed, it's showing up not in their shorts feed, it's showing up on their home feed. The discovery is slightly different. What do they have to do? They're not just being fed that content and seeing it and then deciding to stay or not to stay. They are actively deciding to go and click on that content and watching from there. And so that is the first lesson. Neutrally, if you can bring up the slides, I'll give the rest of the lessons as a recap here. Our initial conclusions of the multi-streaming experiment. Number 1, Shorts is truly about discovery of new audiences, which is what Doc knew before we even said it here. Number 2, YouTube continues to push long-form horizontal after the stream. Not as much with long-form vertical. So this is the one thing that pushes against what you were saying, Benji. That being said, the actual engagement is about the same between the two of them after the fact. Next, viewers are more engaged on long-form horizontal on average, right? Even after the fact, when the vertical ones start going up, they never reach the level of horizontal. And we saw that also with the Paramount thing as well. And so that was the set of conclusions that we had for our multi-streaming.
You know why that is, though?
What is it?
Because at one point, you're like, I might as well watch this on the TV.
That's very.
If I'm like sitting here on this phone for whatever 10 minutes, like just let's finish on the TV. That's what I would.
And the chat UI on vertical is problematic. The day that we get a better way to chat with our TVs, like a little extra keyboard or something that connects to the Apple TV, oh, game recognized game. Right now, chatting on it is hard. So what I end up doing is I have you on the TV, but I'm chatting on my phone. Right.
By the way, YouTube recognizes that too. They've noted that as one of their primary objectives is to give you the chat experience on your phone while you're watching on TV.
Which is, by the way, was already happening on long form.
Yeah.
People, well, what would happen is like, you would be prompted to comment on your phone, but it was going on the TV.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how.
Sorry to interrupt you, Doc.
No. So you guys are right. And so what they need to do, though, is on the chat interface, they need to get rid of everything else on the YouTube page and just give me a chatting mechanism and it's connected to the stream. Because right now, when the other stuff is there, it's easy to accidentally move away and you can't really tag people properly on mobile, but you can tag really well, you know, on the desktop. And so, yeah, I end up doing this. Even iPad, dude, 12 years of iPad, you can't tag on iPad, YouTube. I love you. The next time I see y'all, we having this conversation because it drives me insane. Like there's shortcut keys don't work on iPad and it should. So they're going to come up with a way where you can just chat on your phone and it sends it to the computer and like, oh, it's going to be just gravy.
this all said,
So-
this is why we're so excited about live this year. Like I said, this is the year of live 2026, in my opinion.